Okay, we're going to now, to the practice plan, add cabinetry to the kitchen. So there are a lot of things involved. First, let's check our window height. We need to see what our sill height is, and we need to make sure that's correct. So when we click on the window, it's telling us the sill height. We need to ensure that that sill height is not 3 feet but 4 feet. Because cabinets go up to the 4-foot level, we need to raise the top of the window. So we're making the sill height higher, which then in turn, of course, makes the top of the window higher. And this actually in turn will make all the windows approximately the same height throughout the home. That being said, not that that's a big deal because they are in separate rooms, but it does make a difference from how it looks from the outside. But the most important thing for our perspective is that it needs to be the sill of the window, the bottom sill of the window needs to be higher than the bottom of the countertop. The countertop is 4 feet. If we add a 4-inch backsplash coming up the wall, made of the countertop material, which is relatively standard, then you need a 4-foot sill height because you're going to have a 2-inch trim, so you need that 4-inch height. Okay, so cabinets in Revit are added a single unit at a time, and they are considered components. So in order to add a cabinet, you need to click on Component. When you look in the components that are available, we don't have much here. We have a desk, parking spaces, and several trees, and a few pieces of various construction pieces. That being said, you notice that no cabinets are located there. So you're going to click on Load Family once you've enabled the component command. Now we're going to go to the folder called Casework. And let's start with base cabinets. And I would suggest in a kitchen that you're going to build it outwards from the window. Now, a quick, easy thing to do is to go ahead and load all of the cabinets that you think you might use for the kitchen initially. So you can, in fact, load them all if you think that might be a good idea. Let's see, there are a couple that we won't be using. 2-bin, we've got 4 drawers. Those are pretty standard. I'd say we go with 4 drawers, cabinet built-in. We don't need a built-in. Corner angled, let's get one of those. We got the double door. Those are standard. We need a sink unit. We definitely will need filler because it's probably not exact measurement, and I'll explain what fillers are for. This is a pretty standard one, and this is a relatively standard one, and they come in smaller sizes. This door with a sliding drawer, this comes in a relatively small size, and this is just a single door cabinet. So I would get your 4 drawers, use the control button, corner unit, sink unit. You need the double door 2 drawer, filler, single door and drawer, door with sliding drawers, and single door. Those. We'll leave off the 2-bin and the built-in for now. We probably aren't going to use those. Click the open button, and you're going to get the whirling thing there as it loads. We're loading several pieces at a time, so it's going to take just a little bit longer, so be patient with that. But there's a benefit to doing it this way because you're able to actually get them all loaded without having to worry about coming back to it repeatedly. So let's find the one that we want. We need a base cabinet. We need a sink unit. Let's go with the 36-inch one. Okay. Now, we can edit type as we place this, okay? Now here's the interesting thing, and this is really important because, and you're going to need to do this on each new cabinet that you place that is a different size. So if you were to place another sink unit, which you would not do, obviously, because you only need one sink in your kitchen of this size because it's very tiny, you would, in this case, have to change the material again. But what we're going to do is go to cabinet material, and this is the face finish of your cabinetry. Okay, if you click on this, you get your materials. Okay, here Now let's go down and look for wood. Some wood. We don't want oak flooring. Let's go with one that's built in. We're not going to be using that in our project, but let's go with, for this, we'll go with cherry, okay? And click OK. There are many other woods. This is what is kind of preloaded. We can search for others and add those to our materials library relatively easily, but for this, I'm just going to go with something that is preloaded, and we'll go with the cherry, okay? And we need to make our door and drawer material the same. You don't always do that, but in this case, that's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to go with the default for cabinets and handles, okay? Everything else we're going to leave alone. There's really nothing else that needs to be changed. Now we're going to click Apply and OK. All right, now, default of any piece is that it comes with the front facing down, the front of the object facing down. So, and you'll be able to tell for sure. Also, you do want to have thin lines for sure when you're placing cabinets. So if you had forgotten to do it like I did, you definitely want to, move your cursor up here and click that. We want the midpoint to connect to the midpoint here, like so. All right. And then it's not attached to the wall yet, but you can see that these arrows right here are definitely showing, and they are in front of the cabinet. So let's now move this up to the wall where it touches the wall, okay, and it's centered there. Now you can, and I would recommend this once it's fully in place, you can lock it into place after you move it. So if you move it down and move it back up, you can actually click this lock button on both sides, which will keep it from moving again. So it's now centered on the window. Now, one thing that might make it easier to place cabinets, okay, is to select your flooring and hide it temporarily, okay? And we'll definitely want to do that in the bathroom. It's probably not such a big deal in the kitchen. We're going to be changing the flooring eventually anyway, so if it's not easy to just select it, okay, which sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. You can kind of hover your cursor, and if you can get the floor to come up, great. If not, you can select and the whole thing like so, and you get this Modify Multi-Select. Click on the Filter button. Select Check None, select Floors and Split Face, click Apply and OK. Now come right down here where it says Temporarily Hide and Isolate, and hide that element. This is a temporary hide for that particular element, but it makes it so much easier to go ahead and add the rest of our cabinets. Okay, so let's now go to Component. Now we're going to build out from here, and what we can do is take a quick measure. So if we go over to Modify and get this, our ruler, we find out that there are 5 feet 9 inches between here and the wall over here, and I believe this is relatively close to being centered, but maybe not quite. And we'll see here what we've got. It provides, when you do this, a temporary dimension. This is another way to add temporary dimensions, and it is centered, so 5 foot 9 between two. Let's go ahead and do the corner units, and I'm going to show you the mirror command in Revit. Okay, so let's go over to Architecture, Component. If you're using 2012, that's Home and Component, and let's find the base cabinet corner unit angled. Okay, now you can see that it automatically goes to the facing the other side. Now we need to go ahead and change this. Nice thing about this is, change our materials. The nice thing about this is when you go to do this, it automatically goes to the last one used. So if you're using the same thing over and over again, you can save some time. Granted, this is a tedious thing, but it's not so bad. Now, one of the things you'll notice, this sets up your rendering, by the way. Just keep that in mind. What you're doing is setting up your rendering appearance, okay? Now, I'm going to pop this right into the corner. One thing you may have noticed about this corner unit is that it does not have a cabinet, or I'm sorry, a handle material specification. And the reason for that is that corner units, it's basically a Lazy Susan inside, okay? And you just push the door and it rolls it out, okay? So let's pop that in and you'll see the front. Now, we want one on the other side. This is a small kitchen. We want to make as much use of the space as humanly possible, so we are going to put one in on the other side. All right, so the way we're going to do that is select the object. We have mirror here and mirror here. Mirror pick axis, mirror draw axis. I'm going to show you both. So let's start with pick axis, and you can pick the middle of the window. Boom, and there it goes. Okay, so it's select, mirror pick axis, select the middle of the window, and boom, there it is. Okay, now mirror draw axis is actually really designed more for items that don't have an axis, but we can show you this way anyway. So you're just going to draw a line somewhere. So it's more similar, that mirror is more similar to the AutoCAD mirror. Okay, so now we have our two corner units. Let's measure and see how much space we have left. This is for if you, by the way, are designing from scratch and aren't quite sure how you're going to be placing items. So how much space do we have left here? 2 foot 9 inches. All right, so let's look at our cabinets and see which one gives us a 9-inch cabinet. I think there is a drawer one that does, or maybe something that pulls out. So let's see. Go to Home or Architecture, depending on which version you're using. Okay. And we can scroll through here. See, isn't this kind of nice? We can scroll through here and see. The sliding drawers, this has little drawers that slide out, okay? It's kind of connected. You pull it out and there are drawers there. It's not the greatest of components, but you can actually, they do make 4-drawer units that do come in 9 inches, although I don't know that we have one in this particular thing. 4 drawers, we only get the 12. So we can modify this, so let's do that. Okay, so let's edit type of this, duplicate so we don't override and call it 9 inches when we rename it. Okay, and all you're going to do is change the width to 0 space 9, and that's it. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and change our category. Now, why would you want a 9-inch drawer cabinet in close proximity to the sink? Well, I'm going to put it on this side, okay? 9 inches isn't really big enough for much, but it is nicely sized for stuff like towels. So, sink, towels, dishwasher. Not a bad way to do it. You can go the other way around, but I'm going to go this way for this unit, for this place. All right, now to place the dishwasher, we need to find it. So we have to load family again. This is something else that we haven't done yet. Okay. We're going to be selecting specialty equipment folder. Okay, right here, and then domestic, okay, and then you get your standard dishwasher. Let's go ahead and edit the type. This has an ivory gloss finish. I'm not really digging that. Let's change that. You can we can go with stainless steel. Okay. Apply and okay. All right, so now we have a stainless steel dishwasher that we're going to pop in right here. Okay. All right, so no more cabinets on this between here and here, but we do need a cabinet here. 2 foot 9 is a standard measurement. We don't need any fillers, which is really nice. Okay. Now remember, this is a lazy Susan. It just rolls around inside there, so you're not going to need to worry about the door opening or anything like that causing an issue. Now, actually, if it's a raised panel cabinet, that could pose a small problem. So really, the better way to do this would probably be to put the dishwasher directly next to this and then move your towel drawers over here. Okay, now you notice that when I'm moving and dragging, I have the opportunity to lock it, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to lock it there and there. Okay, now we'll move this one. I'm going to click from here to here, and I'm going to lock that as well. Okay, so these are all nicely placed. Everything's good. Okay, now I have a component I need to add over here. So we're going to find our base cabinets again. We don't need another sink unit. Let's go with double drawer and 2 drawer. Okay, now we're going to use the 33 inch because that is 2'9", and we'll edit the type. And we're going to have to go back and find our wood because it wasn't the last thing we used. Okay, and we'll just pop this into here. Conveniently, this works without having to use any fillers. Okay, so this is the start of our kitchen. Our sink is right here. We're going to be placing it's a small space, so I think best thing to do is go refrigerator here with pantry on the other side of it, and a range here with a small base cabinet on the other side of that. Okay, all right, and we're going to keep this kitchen simple. We're only going to do upper cabinets, I think, along maybe this here and here, and not around this. I don't know, we'll see. We're playing here, and this is a practice file. So all right, so now we need to add another component. We're going to find a refrigerator. Again, that's found in specialty equipment. You can find different ones through Autodesk Seek. So refrigerator. Let's edit the size of this thing and see. I want to get the biggest one possible. 30 by 32 is the biggest one they make in this one. No, wait, no, I'm sorry, we don't. We have left hand, right hand. Okay, so what does that mean? That you open it with your left hand or right hand. So which one do you think we need for this? Good question, right? It opens on the left side, which would mean the door would be here. If we're placing it against this wall, opens on the right side, door would be here. So this is what we want, right hand. We're going to go with the 35. Now, here's the thing here we have to do. We've got to turn this. Now, it comes facing down. So when we click the space bar, it turns it the direction we want it to be turned. So let's go ahead and pop that in. Okay. Edit type real quick. We don't want that ivory either. Remember, we're going with some stainless stuff. So let's go find our stainless steel. Okay. Apply and okay. All right, now here's the interesting thing about refrigerators. See this thing back here? This is where our coils are. We need to actually pull this to where it is touching the wall. We need some space here. Okay, so pull this up. You want to zoom in so you get that line on top of the line. In proper placement is very important. Okay, now we're going to move it again. We're going to move it down 1 inch. How do we move it in one direction 1 inch? We type in 0 space 1, enter. That copied it, didn't it? Okay, we don't want to copy. We placed another. We need to move it down. So just drag 0 space 1, enter. or you can select move, click, right click finish selection, 0 space 1, enter, and there you go. Okay. So now you have this. That being said, we're kind of making this corner not real easy to get to. So let's pull it down about 2 feet more. So move, select. You can hit the enter button key or space button to finish the selection. Click and pull down, and let's type in 2. Enter. So now we have 2 feet here between here and the 1-inch opening. Now we can go back and add another component. Architecture, component. That's going to make the kitchen just a little bit bigger than we had originally intended, but that's okay. Component. We don't want another refrigerator, obviously. We do need more base cabinets. So let's find something that's 2 feet wide. Let's get a 4-drawer base. No, we need more storage than that. I think we're going to need the 2-drawer. No, that's not going to work either. Let's do single door and drawer, 24-inch, right here. And of course, cherry is our, everything has to match. All the cabinets should be the same. Although it is permissible in kitchens to have different upper cabinets than base cabinets, but all your base and your upper should match each other. Okay, now we have to flip it because it's facing down. Okay. Now we're going to pop it into place here. Click. All right. And there you have it. You've got landing space on either side. Now we need to add a pantry on the other side of this, and that's a tall unit, which we don't have loaded yet. So if we want to make our cabinets, we don't necessarily need it to, but we could make this match on both sides. Okay. But I think what we're going to do is go ahead and just skip the pantry. This is a small place, wouldn't necessarily have a pantry here. We're going to skip the pantry and we're going to add cabinets over here, okay? We're not going to add a pantry here. That's going to be too much space. So the refrigerator ends the cabinet run here. All right. Now you may play, of course, and do whatever you want in this tiny little space, but let's go to the other side. Let's add another 4-drawer space, 15 inches over on the other side. We're going to have to edit type because we haven't used this one before. Now, facing down, so we're going to have to keep going around. So you're going to have to space it out a couple of times there, okay? All right, so there it is, and you can tell where the front is because of where the arrows are. So very important to keep that in mind, okay? All right. Now, we need a range. So we're going to have to go back in and find it. Specialty equipment. And 24 by 24 is pretty small for a range, especially considering how the size of our refrigerator. So let's get the bigger one. 30 by 26. And this is easy to see where the front is. We still need to edit our finish. Burner material chrome, and we don't want a white ivory range, so we need to find our stainless steel. Okay, let's slide that in. Okay, ranges need some space as well, so we need to move it. So let's go to Modify, Move, Select, Enter, click and pull down, 0 space 1, Enter. And there we go. We also need to pull it out from the wall a bit. Okay. All right, then we need another cabinet over here, and we can either go with the same size or a different one, but in order to get it into place, we can mirror it, okay? Or we can just place a different one. So I'm thinking a different one would probably be better. We need landing space on both sides of the stove. Let's see. We could go with the same one, or we could go with a different one. Let's see. Actually, our best bet here is going to be sliding drawers would work quite nicely. This isn't going to give us enough space, so we need a slightly bigger one. So let's duplicate this and make it 15 inches. Okay. And then we, of course, need to change to the cherry wood that we're using throughout the rest of the kitchen. And we're going to have to keep going around until we get it to the right. So let's pop it in here, then we're going to need to move it down. So it's modify, move, we've done it before, click, enter, pull down, 0 space 1, enter. And we have landing space on both sides and good storage. Okay. So now we also are going to want to split the face and add just regular tile flooring in the kitchen, much like what we have in the other room. So now's a great time to go ahead and do that. Since this is an open area, it's a little harder to figure it out if you're designing on the fly and just trying to see how things are going to fit. Okay, the best way to kind of do something like this, where you're going to be adding split face in here, would be to do this rather on the fly like we're doing. Okay, so we're going to reset that to where we have this now selected. Okay, now we need to select the floor again, which we can do if we come in here. It looks like we're able to select the flooring. So let's click that, select the flooring. We're going to modify the floors. We're actually going to split the face. So split face, we need to come select the floor, click. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line from the right here. We're going to come directly across. Actually, we're going to come from the refrigerator, as it turns out. So we're going to come from over here. Let's close this out and go back to it. Split face. You have to select the flooring. This is harder to do. Select floor. Now we're going to come over here, grab this end point here, pull this directly across. Okay. And okay, so we actually need to continue sketching this. I apologize. We're going to need to come from here as well and come down to here. I forgot about that. Yes, so, and then we can complete our sketch, and we have a split face here. We'll need to paint that. So we're going to paint. We're going to add tile. We'll do the same thing in the kitchen. The 4-inch tiles. Not really standard what you see in a kitchen, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. All right, so now we have our kitchen in a split face. We've got tile added to the space. Same tile as in the bathroom, which is pretty much standard what you're going to be seeing in a place. Now we probably want to hide our floors again. So if we can select those, easily, then go ahead and select them and hide them. Otherwise, go back to the same way we were doing things. Filter, check none, select split face and floors, apply and OK, and then temporary hide and isolate. Hide that element, okay? All right, so that element is now hidden from view, and we can continue working in both of these rooms. So you have your base cabinets added to the kitchen. Now's a good time to take a break. I showed you the entire kitchen base cabinets. I'm going to be showing for the future tutorials one element at a time, and in the rest of the space in the kitchen. So we're going to be looking at the countertops, the sink, and in the bathroom, all of the elements that go in there, okay? Now we have to add those in the same order that we would in any other space. Countertops come next, okay? And then we'll add the sink, and then we'll add the wall cabinets, okay?